Hello and welcome to the Billowing Hilltop podcast. I'm here with Matt and Eric. Hello, Matt and Eric.
Hello.
Hello there.
Hello. Matt and Eric are Americans, and they've come in this evening to talk about their podcast, The Goblin's Corner. Matt and Eric, tell us about your podcast, The Goblin's Corner.
You want to rock, paper, scissors this one, Matt, or should I start?
Go ahead.
We are a podcast devoted to teaching other people how to play better games. And that's either for character work or storytelling, if you're a GM or a DM, how to get better at just playing D&D, playing Shadowrun, playing any type of online game or TTRPG.
Our first several episodes are all about getting started, and now we've started moving into things like world building and how to make a space that people can play in for storytellers, as well as doing some introductions to a bunch of different games.
And it's really informative. The thing about city building, some of these things kind of speak to me in the sense that some of the stuff we work on for our Age of Worms story, we are going to be going into a city environment soon, and your city episode is really interesting, and it made me feel really nervous about how underprepared I was. And also your stuff about kind of GMing styles. I just think it's a really interesting show. I would recommend all of our readers to check out the Goblin's Corner. Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Eric.
Thank you.
Anytime.
Don't forget to rate or review or subscribe on your podcast app of choice. You can find us on Twitter at Billowing Hilltop or on Facebook. And I have nothing else to say except close your eyes, open your mouth, and prepare yourself for episode 29 of the Billowing Hilltop podcast, Wormy Rappinghood. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Hey,
Welcome.
Good evening. Where tonight's beer, by the way, is a Ludlow Gold. It is citrusy. It is piney.
I'd just like to know one thing, Mike.
Yes.
Have you drunk the beer I bought last weekend?
Paul, the beer you drank last week is garbage. You
really?
bought two beers, one called Juice Forsyth and one called Juice Springsteen. You bought 2 cans of each. 1 can of each is still in the fridge. The other 2 cans have been sampled, they have been judged, and they have been
found wanting.
Basically like old warm orange squash.
Yes,
I remember left one in your grandmother's sock.
Hey, they were under recommendation.
Yeah, but not from me.
Was that
anyway,
from the Cheese Society?
Paul, it's shit beer, so you can have it. I'll send it to you. No, actually, what happens is next time we do anything social, I'll be like, "Hey, I've got some beers." So Ludlow Gold is delicious. It is citrusy. It is bitter. It is an English, very bright, crisp, traditional pale ale. Yum yum.
I have got Big Smoke Brew Co. Poolside. It's called Poolside. Dry hopped Pilsner. It's very nice.
Okay.
My local brewery.
Nothing wrong with a Pilsner.
I've got a nice hot cup of tea.
Unless it's Camden Hells.
No. And some sweet and salty...
Camden Town Brewery is a perfectly reasonable brewery until they went to the dark side.
They did.
What, with Camden Hells? What's wrong with Camden Hells? I love Camden Hells.
They're the official beer of Arsenal Football Club Bonds.
Oh, crap, I can't drink it anymore.
That's what...
You have to, and when you drink it, you have to remember, North London is red.
That's what that disgusting... That's that funny, nasty aftertaste.
Yeah, it's all a bit smelly, actually.
Yeah.
Dad, did you just say you loved that beer?
Well, I used to.
That's going into the episode.
When I was a child and I knew no better.
You've changed allegiances football-wise almost as fast as Paul, who made his way with extraordinary rapidity through Charlton Athletic. Well, anyway. Where were we? Where we left
Brewdog,
things.
obviously, is much better.
Where we left things were
where we left
Arsenal
things.
won the FA Cup.
No, not Brewdog. Beavertown, which is
Sorry, that's
obviously you
beer
can't
partner
drink.
of Tottenham Hotspur.
You can tell I'm a beer aficionado, can't you?
All or nothing turned out to be nothing. Again. Where we left things, our greedy heroes had left Hesty Testapod and Bugraft the Barbarian asleep by the fire at Garm's farm, where they'd fought some bugbears and looked like they disturbed some sort of illicit calamanthus deal between the monks of the Twilight Monastery, Parker's alma mater, and the Ouchsplinter family, Cuthbert's employers. And they think that they disturbed a drug deal that the bugbears had kind of interrupted. They killed the bugbears, and then they found the tracks of a bugbear leading off into the darkness. And despite the fact that Hesty has been talking about giant mythic dark threats to the freedoms and civilization of all men, and the rise of a new age of worms, and the Ebon Triad, and a search for the Rod of Seven Parts, and Kios, the undead bringer of death. They decided that instead they'd chase after this bugbear through the forest in the middle of the night, which they've done, and it looks like they might have found the bugbear that they were chasing.
Yeah.
But that in the intervening period between them starting off on the bugbear chase and resolving the bugbear chase, the bugbear had itself been chased by something nasty, because the bugbear is now writhing with segmented green worms and
I'd
looks
just
like
like
a
to point
horrible.
I'd just like to point out this is all Burple's fault.
How? Why?
Well, I mean, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be standing next to you about to face this.
Okay, fair enough.
So just sorry, Mike, carry on.
So this bugbear that you've been tracking, if it is the same one, is in a sorry state. It's sort of shambling towards you rather than charging at you.
Festooned.
Its left shoulder, I think I've got this right, continuity purposes that might not be right, its left shoulder is dislocated. Its right hand is like in a kind of clawed rictus kind of grip thing, which is kind of leveled at you. It has these green worms crawling all over its surface and crawling, emerging from its eye sockets and its mouth. It's a deeply unpleasant thing. Now, you've heard rumours about these so-called unkillable undead infested with these green worms out in the wilderness. It looks like you're about to get your first taste of what one of them might be like. Now, you're all aware, so let's roll initiative, but the first thing that we need to do is resolve from last time. We need to resolve Burple's readied action, which is a hold person spell.
Yeah, let's do
That
it.
won't work
Let's have a
on the bugbear.
wisdom save for DC.
Hold
40.
undead.
Yeah, okay, so rolling a wisdom save for the bugbear, I roll a
I know, but-
13, which, were it not an academic question, would be a... Let's have a look, caller. Was that a wisdom save? They get, what was the DC?
14.
They made that save. Let's roll initiative. Not that it matters. I get a... Oh, okay.
Purple goes to 15.
Parker gets a 6.
Burple gets a 15. Parker gets a 6. Yeah.
So that's a 9.
So Parker gets a 9. Okay. Yeah.
And
Gotcha.
it's-
Cuthbert gets rolls an 18, gets 21.
21 for Cuthbert. Okay. Sessions.
10 for 11. Oh, sorry, 10 for 13.
Sessions is on 13. Let's start with Cuthbert on 21. You are about 20. You're about 40 or so feet away from this thing, which has taken notice of you. It's reached up its kind of rictus clawed hand and pointed at you, and it looks unhappy.
Yeah, I don't know. The thing is that I could just run away.
Good. Yep. Like Parker.
I could run away and just stand close to Sessions, who's not that far away. But that'd be leaving Burple.
Well, I gambled.
And I don't leave my friends in need. But Burple's going before this thing, so I'm going to go and stand by Sessions. That's what I'm going to
So
do.
you're sort of darting back through the undergrowth towards Sessions, who's hiding behind a rock.
Yes.
Okay, there we go. Brave Sir Cuthbert.
Very brave.
Burple, you're left standing by yourself as this thing crashes towards you. What do you want to do?
Oh, is it me? So, does this thing have a
It's about 50 feet away from you. Give me a perception check.
A perception check. Coming right. Perception check of 14.
14's not bad. Okay, so it is wearing some kind of hide armor. It's not carrying any weapons. Yes, you might be able. Well, no, it's got something kind of, you think, stuffed into the belt of its hide armor that may not be a purse. It might be something, some kind of little sack or some kind of little bundle.
Right. Oh, cock.
It could be a bundle worth a very large amount.
I think it's,
Well, I'm thinking mage hand.
steak, isn't it?
I'm thinking mage hand, but mage hand has a range of 30 feet. So do I hang around, wait for it to come close, cast the mage hand, hope that I can lift this thing off it, and then we hightail it out of here, or not?
That's an interesting plan.
I think we want to lure it a little bit more.
Hmm.
And this terrain is normal terrain?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we're not going to get into it. I think it's not difficult terrain. It's just forest floor.
So assuming a move of 60 feet, I'm going to edge back. Sorry, bear with me a second.
So
Oops.
Purple is getting out his
back
Purple's getting out his theodolite.
What?
Purple's
edge
getting out
back
his,
towards the cluster.
Purple's getting out his laser rangefinder,
Yes.
his theodolite, and his tape measure, and he is he's getting his tape measure. He's going to the bugbear, saying, "Would you mind holding one end of this?" And he's paying out the ticker. Sorry, paying out the tape.
No, he's
until
not. He's just moving back, estimating rough distances and
okay.
speeds.
It's all in the
and-
spirit of fun.
And
Yeah.
he is going. So that's a move, and then I'm going to ready to cast Mage Hand should he move within 30 feet.
Okay, I understand what you want to do. Next, it is Sessions.
Wow, this is very disappointing. My
Cozy.
cozy hidey place is now crowded with stomping colleagues. So I think obviously I will find a new place to hunker down. I'll just step back a little bit away from the crowd.
So Sessions is basically abandoning his hiding place and hiding somewhere.
Well, my hiding place is useless now. It's surrounded by clumping.
By clumping.
I'm just moving.
It's surrounded by
Lucas,
clumping.
Lucas, I'm just moving you where you should be. So,
Oh, I went off. Sorry, the wrong direction. Okay.
You did.
I
You're
think
right
this,
at the edge
this
of the
kind
map
of
over there.
tree behind me. I'm going to move up and sort of hide by that, or at least sort of hunker down by that. And I'm also
Okay,
going to
so
ready a spell.
Yes. Are you gonna hide as in make a stealth check to hide?
Is that an action? Can I do that as movement?
I don't think so. As long as you only move half speed, it's just being sneaky.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll make a roll.
Got 30 foot. Okay, so I'm going to try and duck down, see if I can. Well, obviously, I'm so preoccupied with trying to find a good spot and sizing it up my hide
Like
of
Carter
8.
Burke. It's like Carter Burke in Aliens.
Yeah,
Walking around the
exactly.
side of the tree, and then you turn your head, and there's one in there with you.
Yeah.
Uh,
And I will ready. I will ready my tumbling dice to
smart
crash
move,
down
kiddo.
on it when it gets within range,
Okay.
which is 60 feet. So
Yeah. Okay. It's it, and it is going to crash towards you. It crashes straight towards Purple. It can only get that far in its round.
which is
If-
just
for-
about within range of my
Yeah?
tumbling dice. Yeah.
Well, do you want to do it?
Oh yeah, I've readied the action, so it's come in range. I'm definitely going to drop it on its head.
Okay.
It needs to
well,
make a
off you go.
wisdom DC 14 save.
Okay.
So this is the tumbling
One
dice
second.
variant.
Yeah. Wisdom save DC 14 rolls a
Natural
20.
Okay, well,
Laughs. Well, it wouldn't laugh. It can't laugh off your spell without horrible worms coming out of its gorge spattering onto the ground in front of it.
Okay, well, it doesn't. Yeah.
Right,
Brilliant.
and it looks over at Burple, and it makes a calculation. It can't make a calculation. It's a crazed, lethal, undead nastiness. What it does is it...
No, it's move. That's it. That's all it can do.
No, it's going to move again. It blunders up towards you. It can get to there. So it moves. It crashes it forwards. So it can't. It realizes that it can't. It looks like it's considering something in its weird, tiny, evil, undead brain. But it considered it briefly and then decided just to keep crashing towards you. So now you've got a readied action for a mage hand spell,
Mage hand,
right?
yeah. So I will try and lift this thing off its belt.
Yeah.
You can use your action to control the hand. You can use the hand to manipulate an object, open an unlocked door or container, stir or retrieve an item from an open container, or pour the contents out of a vial. You can move the hand up to 30 feet each time you use it. The hand can't attack, activate magical items, carry more than 10 pounds.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so you're going to try and dislodge this purse from
Yeah.
this thing. Okay.
I'm hoping it's just slightly wedged in there and it's going to pull
Do you
it
want
out.
to do it? It's not really a sleight of hand check. It's more just a straightforward. This thing has not got a strength thing. It's not more than 10 pounds. This thing. It's a question of how much resistance there is, right? You just tell it what to do.
Grab the purse, bring it here.
You can use the hand to manipulate an object, stow, or retrieve an item from an open container. I'm just trying to think if there's any role here. I mean, there has to be a role because it's not a formality that you free this little bundle from being stuffed into the belt of this thing. On the other hand, I'm not quite sure what role to make because the mage hand has not got a strength score in and of itself.
Yeah,
so I'm going to
apologies for the
use.
problem I've caused you.
What is your spell attack modifier? What is your spell casting modifier? It is your
8.
wisdom. Yeah, but your wisdom.
My wisdom is -1. My charisma.
Oh, sorry, charisma. My mistake. Sorry.
My
Yes.
charisma is +3.
And then your proficiency bonus is +2.
Yeah.
Okay, so roll a D20.
I don't know where that
+3,
is.
shouldn't it be +3?
Yeah, +3.
at fifth
So
level
I've got
it's +3.
+6. I've got +6 on my charisma save.
Yeah, okay. I have a number in mind. Roll a D20. You're going to add 6 to that, and that is going to represent your.
Okay. Here we go. 18.
Okay, that's good enough. So the mage hand materializes within range, plucks at this bundle that's in the belt of this thing, and successfully dislodges it, and or grabs hold of it and is holding onto it.
And brings it back to me.
Can it do that all in your readied action? I thought your readied action was just like a single.
Well, it's the spell. I mean, you can rule on that, but it says the hand can't attack, activate magic. Hang on. You can move the hand up to 30 feet each time you use it.
Yeah, fair enough. I think it's quite a lot, but I can't see why it would seem churlish to deny it. So it gets near enough, you cast the spell, it appears next to it, it grabs the purse and brings it all back, all within your readied action. Fair enough. Okay. So the mage hand returns to you with this little. It's not a purse. It's like a dice bag. It's like a slightly more kind of heavy, hempen sack with a
Perfect size
drawstring.
to hold loads of green worms.
Yeah, it might be. Yeah, it does seem to be wriggling around.
Does it?
No, of course not. It seems to be completely normal.
Just that I check.
I don't think you've got time. I think we've packed quite a lot into your readied action.
I think you can only use the hand on the next round.
Oh, Graham.
What do you mean?
Well, you need to use an action to control the hand.
Oh, so the hand is still with the creature.
That's what
Thanks,
appears at the
Graham.
point you choose within range. The hand lasts for the duration.
You could use your action
what
to
you're saying-
control
the hand.
Yeah, which you can't. You don't have an action to control the hand. You had a readied action, and your readied action was the casting of the spell. So Graham is correct, and I wish that I'd been a little bit more assiduous.
He's always there, in the background.
So mage hand requires 2 actions basically to do anything.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I mean, it casts an action. It takes an action to cast, and it's an action to make it do stuff. So yeah, it does. Yeah. Anyway, it's appeared. Yes, and it's appeared. That's all that happens. It's appeared next to it. It hasn't grabbed the thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to have to either go back and make that roll again. I think that seems rude. I think that seems cruel. I think we can say that it's a given that you've made. You're going to make the roll to dislodge it, but it just won't happen in this sequence quite now. Right, Parker. Let's go back to Parker because that's going to be a nightmare. Parker.
Thank you. Okay. As I said, I'm moving 100 foot.
You're running 100. You're running 100 feet back the way you came.
No, I'm carrying on towards the noise 100 feet.
Okay, make another perception check.
Yeah, another perception check.
Yeah, these are worms with legs. These are 6-footed, really speedy running worms.
So that's a 10 for a 12 perception.
That's pretty good. You think that this noise that you were pursuing, you couldn't work out exactly where it was or exactly how fast it was moving in relation to you last time you were kind of headed off after it. But now you think that it is moving quite rapidly, and your sense is that it's not a small creature like a rabbit or a cat, but maybe something like a wolf or something. And it's heading back up the stream at high speed. You don't know that you're very difficult to tell whether or not you're catching up. Yep. And it is Cuthbert's round.
Cuthbert might actually move to interpose in between Burple and it? And is there such a thing in the system we're running as fighting completely defensively, like
You can
dodge?
You can spend your action dodging. It means that you don't take an attack, but that you're. I think that
Disadvantage.
foes
They take
attack you at disadvantage. Effectively, you're concentrating on your efforts on not being hit.
Yes, that is what I will do.
You've been concentrating on the other game. We call it dancing.
Assume that I'm going to move 30 foot south next
Well, it's
round.
Burple's round, so you've got your action. We know that you can successfully grab this thing out of this creature's belt,
Okay.
and you can retrieve it with your action.
Yeah.
What else would you like to do?
And then I'll
You've got to
move
move, or you've got
10, 20, 30 foot south.
back towards the stream.
Back towards the stream, away from the creature.
Yeah. Okay.
But in the open. And I will say,
but in the-
Lemon's tiny hut. Code word.
Okay. Sessions at the base of your tree
Is it
hiding hole.
Leomond? Is it Leomond or is it Lemond?
Are you
Or
shouting that as
lemon?
well? This thing goes.
I think it might be lemon. I've
Lemon.
always wondered.
Lemon's a funny pronunciation.
Is it-
Quite like it.
Is it Hewitt or Howard that had the other thing?
Oh, my bugbear undead voice causes me to cough.
Fast,
Sessions.
efficient.
Is it me?
Sessions.
Yep.
Okay, well, I'm going to move towards Lemon's tiny hut.
Well, you're going to move towards Burple
Yes.
on the anticipation that he's about to cast a Lemon's Tiny
Tiny
Hut.
hut. Yes, I believe he's going to cast Lemon's tiny hut. So I'll move right up to him. And then I will also rain down tumbling dice on that evil undead creature.
Okay, it's tumbling dice is the. It's not the same as clashing coin. It's not the spiritual weapon. It's the other one.
No,
It
it's
makes
the same
a wisd-
crushing coin. It's the same as it's the variant Toll the Dead.
Okay, and what's the DC?
14 wisdom.
Okay, and what's the damage? And what kind of damage is it?
It's bludgeoning damage, and it's
So it is crushing coin. So
it is crushing coin. There are two versions of
You
crushing
said
coin.
you said so it's tumbling.
Dice is the bludgeoning one. Crushing coin is the necrotic one.
Get with the program, Mike. Obviously, it's really
I really am absolutely genuinely bewildered. Have you got more than one type of spiritual weapon?
No, neither are spiritual weapons. Spiritual weapons different. These are cantrips.
Right, and one of them was Toll the Dead,
Yeah, which I called crushing coin.
which you make a wisdom save,
Yeah,
and it doesn't do bludgeoning
it does
damage.
necrotic damage.
Yeah, and then the other one is tumbling dice.
Yeah, it's the same spell. It just does bludgeoning damage instead. Remember we discussed this?
No, we had crushing coin has always been your reskinning of spiritual weapons.
No. Crushing coin is. Oh, you're right. Sorry.
Yes, I'm 100% correct. Crushing coin. Trust me, I've listened to this game in the exhaustive
I get
detail.
confused.
Never
I get
outsmart the
confused.
DM.
Crushing coin was you have crushing coin,
Let me
which
go
is
back to my
the
list.
which is the equivalent of a spiritual weapon where you have to make a
Oh,
melee
you're
attack.
right. You're right. Yeah,
Summon
no,
it, yeah.
it's the Sorry, it is the Toll the Dead reskinning of Toll the Dead.
I think you know someone.
So it's
Who am
necrotic
I-
damage.
Who am I adventuring with? It's amateur hour.
And how much damage is that necrotic damage?
Well, it's going to be. Is it damaged?
It seems to be damaged.
In which case, it's going to be 2d12.
D12. 2d12.
Yeah, which would be
Anytime now.
2 and 8. In old
3 and
school.
sixpence.
11 points of damage.
11. Okay.
Talking imperial damage.
It's. Do you make a perception check?
Yeah,
It receives absolutely none of it.
it's 15 plus 4, 19.
Yeah, you don't think it's as harmed by that as you would have expected.
Okay,
Okay.
That's the unkillable part.
It steps up to Cuthbert.
Of course.
And it will try and slam Cuthbert. This thing is covered in these worms, Cuthbert. You don't know how easy it's going to be to avoid being wormed at some point.
Yes, I've heard that.
Not like a cat. I mean, have a worm placed upon you.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. First attack at disadvantage because you are dodging. Yep.
Yes.
The first roll is an armor class 14, which is not going to be enough.
Yep.
And then the second attack, the first roll is a 17, so that is going to be enough, but it's got to roll again because it's a disadvantage, and it rolls a 16. Oh dear, armor class 22.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Infects you with green worms.
You take 7 points of bludgeoning damage.
Yeah.
Yes. And
Yes.
there's a worm on you. This thing is like the size of a big chili or a small banana.
Slug.
A big, very big slug, but it's a segmented. It's like a witchetty. It's like the witchetty grub
Yeah.
from hell.
Yeah.
And we move on to Parker. So you're now 200 feet upstream.
Yeah.
You can hear the sound of clearly some kind of struggle, some sort of combat behind you. Sounds like the others are involved in a fight with something. So you heard a sound, a distant sound that sounded lighter, something moving through the undergrowth when you first left the stream. Yes, in pursuit of this louder sound, which turns out to be the sound of this bugbear that the others are fighting. Yep. You decided to head back upstream, and you had a sound on either side of you. You picked the one heading back upstream.
Yeah.
You cast a long strider, and you dashed 50 feet, and then you rolled a perception check to see if you could hear where this thing was moving away from you, towards you, whatever. You rolled a 1. And you couldn't really tell anything about whether or not it was still moving faster than you, moving slower than you, moving towards you or away from you. You decided at the next round to push on,
Yeah.
and you ran another 100 feet.
Yes.
Yeah. At which point you rolled a perception check, which was half decent, and your sense is that this thing is still ahead of you and still moving away from you, and is a smallish creature, something like a wolf or a fox, nothing really small like a rabbit.
But it's pretty fast then.
Yeah, it's moving pretty fast, yeah. Make a perception check.
So I'll make a perception check. And I roll a natural
20.
20 for 22.
Okay, yeah, so you get a clear sense. This thing is definitely moving ahead of you. You think you're not far now from the point about halfway back to the road where you met the gap in the stream and you found those tracks that were set to deceive you. Yep. You think this thing is probably almost at that point ahead of you. Your sense is it's moving at about the same speed as you, maybe a little bit slower. You think that over a period of 5 or... I was going to say, Parker doesn't think in rounds. Over the course of 30 seconds to a minute, you'd be confident that you would catch it up.
Right. Yeah. So 5 rounds of movement.
Maybe not quite that many because you'd probably be moving faster than it for a while, but yeah, your choice. And again, just for clarity, so that there's no chance of confusion, you don't think it's a humanoid. You don't think it's anything as big as a human or a man or a bugbear. You think it's something smaller.
Okay, I'll give up on that. I'll turn around and come back the other way. We probably need to do this combat.
So you're going to come back 100 feet
Yes.
back towards things. So you're 150 feet away at the end of your round and the end of your turn, and we'll move on to Cuthbert. What would you like to do, Cuthbert? You've got this thing. It's on your side. It seems to have found a little gap in your armor.
Okay.
It looks like it's thinking about leaving the outside world.
Rock grub.
Yeah, I mean, it's not miles off that kind of idea. You get the sense that this thing is looking for an opening. Well, you get the sense that this thing has found an opening and is about to potentially exploit it. What would you like to do?
Well, I think the thing is, this creature hasn't actually taken a turn in combat, has it?
Are you talking about the worm?
Yes.
No, the worm was sort of left on you when you were punched by this thing.
So what I was thinking is I could disengage from the bugbear, and then I could take an advantaged attack on the whatever this thing that's left on me is.
What, using to get the extra action? How would you do that? Use your action surge?
I have my assassinate.
Yeah, but your assassinate is that when you attack something that has not yet moved, you score an automatic critical hit. That's all fine. But disengage is your action.
Disengage is a bonus action.
So you use your cunning action to disengage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then you use your move action to move away, and then you use your action to kill the worm.
Yes.
Okay, do you want to do that?
Yes.
Fine, you kill the worm.
Thank you. And I will move 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 south, and I will be.
I mean, I suppose it's
next to
potentially possible that you could fuck the roll up. It's not an automatic hit, is it? You just attack at advantage.
Yes, I just attack at advantage.
No, we'll give it a shot then. I mean, imagine. It could be funny if you were to miss twice. Yeah?
All right then. I roll a 14.
No, damn it. Okay, yeah, you kill it. Well, I mean, you never know. And it is... we move round. It's Burple's turn.
Well, Burple is going to do a lemony hut type thing.
Burple's going to do lemony up. I think set up a little cafe.
Yep.
Sessions.
Well, I mean, I guess the lemonade. Can we do things from inside
You can
the
move
lemon?
freely in and out of the hut. You can't cast spells through it, but nothing can pass through it apart from. So night creatures are
where is the
medium-sized.
hut?
It's
Yeah,
10
read
foot
us-
radius.
Read us the spell, Dan. Let's get the whole
10-foot radius, immobile dome of force springs into existence around and above you and remains stationary for the duration. The spell ends if you leave its area. 9 creatures of medium size or smaller can fit inside the dome with. In fact, why don't I just publish it? There you go. Like that.
That doesn't really help us. The idea is that you're talking for the tape. I know
Okay.
you find the
All other
idea
creatures.
ridiculous.
Okay, so the spell phase of this area includes a larger creature or more than 9 creatures. Creatures and objects within the dome, when you cast this spell, can move through it freely. All other creatures and objects are barred from passing through it. Spells and other magical effects can extend through the dome or be cast through it.
Can't extend.
Can't
through the dome.
extend through. Yep. The atmosphere inside the space is comfortable and dry, regardless of the weather outside. Until the spell ends, you can command the interior to become dimly lit or dark. The dome is opaque from the outside of any color you choose. So I'm going to choose a nice shade of lilac, but it is transparent from the inside, so we can see out. It can't see in.
Got it. What a great spell. Sessions, you're in this thing.
And I can step out of it freely and step back in. Is that correct?
Correct.
No, so I probably step out of it.
Make a perception check, Sessions.
Perception check. 8.
Okay, so 8 is not good enough. You can't find the Lemon's tiny hut anymore. You lost it. No, you step out of Lemon's tiny hut, Lemon's tiny hut,
Yep.
and you look at the creature.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't seem to be wounded anymore.
Okay. Well, fantastic. I realise that, and then I step back into the Lemon's tiny hut and think about what to do next. Oh, in fact, well, I'll use my bonus action to summon my spiritual weapon, the Crushing Coin.
Can you give me a religion check?
Religion. I didn't pay a lot of attention in 13.
Okay, I mean, I don't know if religion is quite the skill, but that's a wisdom religion check, or is it an intelligence religion check? The point being that this thing, you get the sense, Sessions,
It's intelligence.
that this thing is a newly undead creature. I mean, you kind of knew that anyway. Yep. And you think that it's degenerating,
Becoming more undead.
becoming more undead and becoming more horrible every moment you look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean more intelligent?
No, it doesn't
Just
mean more
mean
intelligent. It
more
means
bad.
It means more bad. Yeah,
Yeah,
it means
okay.
more nastier, more revolting to comprehend, more revolting to behold. Just scarier and more horrible. You just get the sense that perhaps you came across this thing as it was transforming.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just thinking about our ability to get away. That's all I'm. This
mean
thing.
this is-
Anyway,
Lemon's
Sessions,
tiny
you
hut
step- you
lasts
step-
8 hours.
you
Yes.
stepped out, you've had a look at this thing, you think A, it's no longer wounded after you did some necrotic damage on it, and B,
Do I think I healed it?
no.
Just regenerates.
Yes, it just you felt like you wounded it with your spell, but not as much as you'd hoped. And then you now notice that damage that you did before, that that you did before,
Oh, yes.
I did some
seems to have
Seems
My
to have
sense is
erm.
it's lesser
The erm seems
is
to
it?
have it.
Seems to have unermed itself. Yeah.
Yeah, lesser
I'm guessing is spelled U umlaut RM, which sounds like some sort of
That's
metal
Urum,
band.
isn't it?
Yeah, or a town in Western Saxony. After which the concept of damage was named. Anyway. Oh god. It's
Anyway.
no longer ermed.
Okay. I relay this information to the gents in the hut.
That sounds not. You don't resume.
There's no
okay.
gents in the hut. It's just
I was
one
going to
single
say
area.
you don't relate this information in the gents. Okay.
Yes.
But it's it.
Mhm.
It's going to make a perception check and roll a very low one. It doesn't sense Parker crashing around nearby. It doesn't know what this dome is. It walks up to the dome, guys.
Mhm.
It walks up to the dome, Burple, Sessions, whatever, and sort of squishes itself up against it. It's looking in at you. Right? It's opaque from the outside, a fetching lilac. So
lilac, huh?
it can't see you. It's sort of scrabbling at this thing. It doesn't really understand what it's dealing with, and I think that's all for it. So we will move on to Parker. Parker, you're 100 feet away. I hand wave that thought.
Okay.
As in, we discussed how far you'd moved, but I think you're 100 feet away at this point. So you could move with your long strider and be back in the game. In fact, you might be able to make it, I'm reckoning, back into the Lemon's tiny hut, should you so wish.
I thought I can't get into the tiny hut because I
Can't get
wasn't
into
in the
the tiny
hut.
Oh, shit.
It's just him and it.
What do you want to do, Parker?
Well, what I will do is I will move 50 foot
Mm-hmm.
and I will do a produce flame
Yeah.
and throw it at it. I assume if I move 50 foot, I can see it.
Yeah, you can see it. Yeah, you can see it perfectly well. What's the range of your produce flame?
Yeah, I'm just trying to have a look at that.
It can also see you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I'm guessing it can't move 50 foot.
Well, it moves
Oh,
30
no.
so it could move.
No, range of produce flame is 30 foot. So I can't.
Well, let's just say you've moved 50 feet and then you're making a decision. Would you like to cast produce flame, or would you like to move again, or you can do whatever you want to do?
Now I will throw a dart at it.
What? You're going to throw a dart?
Yes.
Oh dear, that sounds like the strategy of a desperate man.
So if I move up to 50 feet, does it see me?
Yeah. Well, it can see you, should it look in your direction.
Yeah.
And you're
no, I
50
want
feet
to
away, of course it
distract
can see you.
I want to distract it, basically.
Okay, so what does that entail?
So basically is a roll to attack with a dart, ranged attack, rolling a 9,
Hitting armor class
hitting armor class 14
is a
Come on.
miss.
Oh,
is a
really?
miss.
Well, it's wearing armor. This bugbear was wearing armor. I mean, this is some kind of zombie undead horror, but it's still wearing the armor it was wearing. So you throw your dart at it and miss.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yes. Hoping that at this point it will actually notice that.
Yeah, I understand. Well, it's head.
I mean, I
whipped
could have stood
round.
there and flailed my arms and, got
Yeah, no,
me
its
murdered,
head
but-
whips round as
Yeah.
you pitch a dart at it and miss. It sees where the flight has come from, so it notices you, certainly, and it's Cuthbert's go. You're inside Lemon's tiny hut, Cuthbert.
Well, I'm just gonna, hunker down.
Okay? You doing
Hi,
nothing?
Purple. Doing nothing.
Burple, what do you want to do?
I'm going to... I can't step out because then the thing will come down. So I will say to Sessions, tell Lucas or tell Parker to get the hell out of here. We'll meet him back at the road. We're going to wait this thing out.
Understood. Sessions, what do you want to do? Are you going to follow the instruction?
I'm going to follow the instruction. I'm going to step out of the teeny hut.
Yep.
I will relay
Yep.
Don't
the
call it a teeny hut.
the tiny,
It's a
tiny hut. I
Different
will
thing.
relay the instruction to
Burple's very size sensitive. Yeah.
He's very...
Parker.
And
And then
how big it is, it's how big it gets, Burple.
Yeah. And then I'm going to invoke the power of misfortune and try and turn it.
Oh, hello. Okay,
that's an
how does that
interesting
work?
It needs to make a wisdom saving throw,
Yes.
DC 14, or run away for a minute.
Okay, fine. And so
We have the purse, yeah?
yes, you have the purse.
We have
Yes.
the purse, yeah.
You-
I will look in the purse.
Well, it's too late. Right.
Free action. Look in the purse.
You really want to look in the purse? You sure?
What condition do you apply to this thing if you turn it?
I don't
Is it
think you
channel
do.
divinity?
It's channel divinity turn undead.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, 1 second. I'm just going to have a quick look at it.
It doesn't name a condition. It just names a requirement that it runs away.
Fine. It doesn't say the creature is frightened or the creature is.
No.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Turn
Right, okay.
creature. Yeah, no, it doesn't.
As an action, you present your holy symbol and speak a prayer, censoring the undead. Each undead that can see or hear you within 30 feet of you must make a wisdom saving throw. It is turned for 1 minute. Must spend its turns. Can't willingly. Blah blah blah. Fine. Okay, so it's going to make a wisdom save. Sorry, what was the DC?
14.
DC 14. Wisdom save. It rolls a 10 for a total of 12 and fails that save. It doesn't use its reaction.
Yeah, I think it has to. In the unlikely event that its challenge rating is half or less.
No.
Okay, so it's not destroyed.
Yeah. Okay. No, you can't take reactions. You wait until it's action, and then it'll do something. But not now. Okay, it's now its action, though. So it's turn, so it will now run away. It heads off into the thicket.
So we could run the other way.
Yeah, you could run the other way. Well, it's Parker's turn. Parker, what would you like to do? You've piled up. You threw a dart at this thing. It seems to have terrified it. No. You threw a dart at this thing and missed. It noticed you, but then Sessions ran out, shouted at you to run, Charlie, run! To run back up the thing and away. Yes? Because they were going to join you later. But then surprisingly, Sessions then lifted his holy symbol, his coin of misfortune, brandished it in the face of this thing, uttered some sort of kind of religious whatever claptrap, you're not really sure, and this thing has hightailed it off into the forest.
Nice.
Well,
Right.
What do you want to do, Parker?
well, I'll go back up to the lads.
Go back up to the lads. Okay, football lads.
Right, lads.
And it's Cuthbert's turn. I mean, are you heading? Oh, this thing is going to keep running away.
We're
Are you
heading
back up.
We're heading back up.
Okay, so so you crash back up to, so you trek back up the stream. This thing's going to run for a minute. By the time the effect of Sessions' turning power has worn off, it won't know where you are. And you don't get the sense that this thing was particularly intelligent. Yes, it was just kind of reacting to its circumstances. You follow the trail back up. You follow the stream back up. You never see any trace of the small, fast-moving creature that Parker was chasing after, but you do detect that very nasty, sweet decay scent a couple of times as you work your way back to the trail, and then you're back at the trail. You're back at the point where the trail intersects the stream, where you found the clementine, and when you find the tracks. What are you going
What's
to
in
do?
the pouch?
Are you having a look in the pouch?
Yeah.
Pouch has got 3 gems in it.
Yeah, I'm rich.
The pouch has got 3
Good try.
gems in it. They are diamonds.
Oh, 3 resurrection stones.
How has anybody got any kind of relevant skills in terms of appraisal?
Yeah, of course.
What skill do we need?
I think we're looking at an intelligence check. A straight intelligence check is, I think, what we're looking at. Straight intelligence check.
Why not?
They seem to be gems of equal size and cut, and therefore value.
15.
Just-
I got a 15.
Oh, God.
I got a
Give up
15 as
tonight.
well.
Okay. Difficult to be absolutely definitive, but you think they are worth easily 5,000 gold pieces each, probably more.
I look at Burple and say these are worth, wouldn't you say, about 100 gold pieces
100
each?
gold pieces each. Yeah. You have one. I'll have one.
One, yeah.
Cuthbert and
I look at
Parker
you
can
both.
share the other one.
I look at you both and go, "Is this your money?"
This is my money, yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
because obviously I managed to get it. A great personal risk.
You're standing having this conversation, I presume, at the
No,
at the
we'll-
point where the stream meets the trail. Where are
We're
you
going to
doing?
We're going to walk down that trail. and we'll have the conversation
so as
on
you're
the move.
walking down the trail, so you're not worrying about your equipment and stuff that was back at the farmhouse.
What
I mean, you haven't really got much there. It's all it's kind of dunnage. It's not your weapons, your armor, all of that stuff is off. I would imagine on you. We're talking about your pack ponies, your camping equipment,
All of
some
the stuff
supplies.
that
Well, I think
Hesty
we're
organised
guessing
for
that
us.
Hesty Testopods has taken it all with him.
Yes, you'd be okay. Yeah, I mean, you know that you've seen the track of 2 or 3 pack ponies maximum.
How many pack
Crossing
ponies
the-
were there?
Well, there was 1 each for you all to ride, and then there was 2 or 3 to carry the dunnage. So, I mean, that's not
So how far
necessarily a
back?
consideration.
How far back to the house?
Well,
is it?
you
How
think
long?
that you're not sure because you
On the
don't know
road.
how far it is back along the trail.
Mhm.
You can infer from the fact that it looked like they beat you to this point. They must have set off after you. That it's quicker to go back via the trail than to follow the stream up the way you did. Although you were moving kind of at half speed in rules terms because you were making survival checks. Yep.
We'll take the track back to the house.
Okay, I mean,
Yeah.
you think it's going to take you, it's probably going to add about 3 hours in total to get back to the house, pick your stuff up, and then follow on.
We'll do that.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, I mean,
Just
you
to make sure
okay.
that it was them.
Let's
that's
do
cool.
it.
Yeah, so you follow are you going to follow back up the stream or follow back up the trail?
The trail.
Up the
trail.
trail.
Okay, so that's a pretty speedy. Let me just check the distances for you to make sure that I get this right. It takes you 45 minutes to get back to the house.
Okay.
Yep. So it takes you an hour and a half to make a round trip back to the Garm farm. When you get back to the Garm farm, it's deserted. Bugraft and Hesty aren't there. Some of your pack ponies are there with some of your dunnage. They've been tied up. There's no note or anything. The hearth spirit has sort of dwindled in the hearth in the house. You can still get you can still sense its presence. I have felt your presence, but it's not blazing away like it was when Hesty was tending the fire. And then it takes you about another 45 minutes to get back to where you were. Yes?
Mhm.
And you can follow the trail. As you follow the trail, sitting on your little ponies, your little ponies, you can look at these gems. Who's looking at them?
Well, I am. I've got.
Burple, Sessions, all of you?
Yeah.
I'll toss one over to Sessions. Yeah.
Well, Sessions, I think really we're talking about Sessions and Burple here. Can they make... and no, to be fair, Sessions, Burple and Parker, can they make Arcana checks?
Arcana.
Oh, and a 3. True to form.
12.
Okay.
9.
hmm Something about these gems, but can't really work out what's going on.
That makes me nervous.
It's like I'm getting something off it's like a sort of faint kind of sort of magical, you haven't got detect magic running or anything that formal or anything that kind of definitive, but there's something about the gems that kind of gives you pause. You're like tossing them to each other. It's like, Sessions, what do you think? And it's like, there's something, but no, I can't, no. And Parker doesn't get anything.
Has anyone got detect magic as a cantrip?
It's not a cantrip, it's a first level spell.
Anyone got it for free?
No, it's not free. It's never free.
All right, I'll cast detect magic.
Oh, it's a ritual though. Sorry, we cast it.
Oh,
as
it is a ritual. Yeah, so we'll cast it as a ritual.
Detect magic. Okay, let me just tell you what that
They're fakes, aren't they?
determines. No, Burple, that is not what you determine. The gems are genuine, and they are. They seem to be of the value that you first sort of determined. Yes, but they are magical, and they are bearing an aura of divination.
So
reckon they got
someone's tracking them.
Yeah.
Are you sure these are your gems?
I think, actually, Burple, now that you have cast Detect Magic and you're looking, can you give me an Arcana check?
That
2.
would be good.
Natural 1.
To know.
Okay, no, fine.
Hey, so someone's tracking these things.
Where did they come from?
Well, they came
Undead
from.
monster.
Before that?
We
They
don't
came
know.
from who knows? They're an undead monster. The treasure.
They were part of a deal.
That went.
That's supposition.
They're part of a deal in order to trade. Calamanthus.
Anyway,
So, as I keep saying, do you know whose gems you're talking about?
Yeah, mine.
Okay.
Ours.
I'll leave you to have a think about those gems. There's clearly some kind of divination magic aura on those gems, and Burple, with your detect magic spell, you hold them up to the light, you're concentrating on them. Kind of get the sense that there's something else to be kind of discovered, to be gleaned about them, but you can't work it out.
I'll tell that to Sessions.
Shall I try to go at the old detect magic?
You're
What
more
do
than
you
welcome
know
to.
about these gems?
Yeah, I also will cast it as a ritual spell as we plod along.
Okay, and they radiate divination magic, but you're also you can make an Arcana check as you inspect them.
I have clicked the button, but nothing's happening. Oh, here it comes. Wow, I'm twice as good as you with a 4.
Yeah. Sessions, you're peering at these things. You hold them up to the light. There's just a sense there, like when a gemologist or whatever, a diamond cutter, looks at a gem through like an eyepiece or under an intense light, and they're looking for flaws or occlusions. Yeah, you just briefly get the sense that there's something magical, some kind of something in there, and you kind of try and get your
I might
head
spend
around
a little
it.
bit of luck on this and have another go.
Well, yeah, you think, okay, yeah, go for it. Yeah, absolutely.
I'll call on misfortune to think, there's something there. I don't feel I really got my head around that. I need a bit of help.
Yep.
I get natural 20.
Well, and so it's you summon, you kind of reach out with your mind for the blessing of misfortune. And she guides your eye to the heart of the gem that you're holding up, and suddenly, as clear as anything, crisp and sharp, you see somehow held within the body of the diamond that you're holding. I mean, it's a big diamond. It's the size of a D12, something like that. Yeah, it's a chunky little fucker. It's a chunky thing. You see the telltale, crisp, 3-pointed flame symbol of the House of Ouchsplinter.
Come on, Paul, give us some background. You're being very coy.
No, I'm not being coy at all.
That just indicates its provenance. It doesn't mean it's not going to be spent.
It doesn't
What
necessarily
happens-
tell you all that much that you didn't know already.
Yeah.
But what happens when?
It's like laser etching of a diamond.
So are they going to then go back?
No,
they've done the deal.
You've got a 20-something sessions, right?
I've got a 20.
Okay, so
Exactly a 20.
you think that this mark is bound up with a divination aura.
Okay.
But
Well,
what
I
else
think
not-
we,
It's
What
not
I'm
just
asking, Mike-
it's not just an independent sort of marking. It's not something that's like a hallmark that denotes ownership. It is bound up with whatever divination aura that these gems are carrying.
Paul, from what you know,
let's catch up with Hesty Testapod. He's probably
Yeah.
Yes.
cleverer than us.
but
You
Paul,
can ever think about this.
That's why I'm saying, Paul, maybe your family
Paul-
knew something about the process.
Are they
that
bad
they did these
people?
diamonds?
I think
Yeah.
you should
They
be talking
rip people off.
You should be talking
Yeah.
to Cuthbert, not Paul.
Cuthbert, that's what I'm saying. Cuthbert, what happens with these things? Does the divination get removed at some point?
So Cuthbert just kind of looks at you and goes, "Just say they belong to my grandmother. Do you want to mess with that?"
Yeah, but what does that mean?
I didn't
what would they
know
do?
I didn't know anything about these, but they belong to my grandmother.
Well, they don't if she spent him. If she'd done a deal for Calamanthus.
But
If
she
she's-
hasn't
if she's
spent
still
it.
claiming. Yeah, but she has spent it.
No, but she hasn't, because she hasn't got the Calamanthus.
Well, maybe she was in possession of the Calamanthus and it got burnt. That's my question. What happens
Well, that's
to
your
these...
choice.
No, but what happens to these diamonds once they're spent? Does the magical aura remain?
I've no idea. I didn't know this deal was happening. I knew nothing about it.
Yeah, but you know about the markers that they put on the gems.
No, I don't. No, all I'm just saying is that if you've told me it's got the markers of my family on it, and I'm just like, they belong to my grandmother.
Belonged in the past.
Well, they
she
belong.
still claim to
Well, unless the deal is done.
ownership.
Unless the deal is done, and the deal hasn't been done, evidently.
How do you know the deal hasn't been done?
Well, I mean,
We don't know that the deal wasn't done.
from what we
Could
saw.
be the Ouchsplinters burnt the Calamanthus.
Well, I don't know anything about this. I'm just
Or
saying
that
that,
the
Exactly.
Calamanthus got burnt after the deal was done.
it's up to you. But look, I'm just saying. All I'm saying is that you can make it up as you want. You can say what you like. It's not how you
divination,
think
Mike,
about it.
This divination, Mike, what is it? Does it enable just tracking, or does it enable clairvoyance, or what?
You don't know. You don't know what the spell is. Let me have a look at detect magic, but I don't think that as a right you see. You learn the school of magic. That's all you can learn with the detect magic spell. You don't know what the spell is.
Whilst Cuthbert is not a high-level member of the clan, he kind of knows.
It's still
The impact.
family. He'll know bits. Yeah.
Why
He'll know
don't we
bits and he'll
give
know the impact? And what he's
Paul? I
saying.
think
Hold on a minute.
Cuthbert. Cuthbert, I think, can maybe make an intelligence check. Let's see if there's a chance. There's a chance that this resonates with Cuthbert. I think this is reasonable. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I'm
There's
guessing
always a
Cuthbert-
chance that something that Cuthbert has picked up during his upbringing means that when this comes up, he has something
Yeah.
to contribute.
A deal that's been done in this way before or something.
Can he?
Was a
Can he make a
story that
wisdom
he
check
had.
with an intelligence check?
He's going to make an intelligence check.
Because that's -1. Okay.
Well, that's the problem with being Cuthbert.
Okay. And he makes the.
No, he won't.
He doesn't.
It wasn't paying attention at any point.
Any point in his
Yeah,
life,
So
like, he
it's
rolls
not
a
something that Cuthbert has encountered or heard anything about before.
Okay.
But I think the thing is that he can't. What he's saying is that what you've got is these things which evidently belonged to my grandmother, and I know what my grandmother's like.
So the
Yeah.
worst case scenario is there's a big finder's fee for recovering them.
Well, the worst case scenario is you get hunted down and killed. That's the worst case scenario.
I prefer my view on the world.
Yeah, the worst case scenario is you get hunted down and killed. The base case scenario is you get beaten up and these things get taken off you. That's his view on it.
Unless we sell them.
If anybody will take them off you.
Well, I'm saying that's why the markings are.
Yeah.
I mean, what we.
So I think on the markings, I don't know if I was clear enough, or Lucas, perhaps you were concentrating on something else. The markings are not markings on the gems. The
I know.
markings are a product of the divination spell that is cast on the gems.
Yes, and what I'm guessing is if you had no magical detection, my understanding is
That's perfectly possible, yes.
You wouldn't have noticed these.
Yes, there's no way you would have seen the
they're
marking.
like a hidden watermark. That's what I'm.
There's absolutely no way that you an Arcana check that you made when you first inspected them without any spell assistance told you that there was something to look for, but it wasn't until you cast a detect magic that you even got a chance to see the markings and had any sense of what of the magical aura around them. Yeah,
Dispel
So,
magic,
and,
Mike.
I was thinking exactly the same thought. Let's see.
An unwitting monk who is basically thinking he's doing the deal of his life, only to discover that either he's being traced, or when he goes to try and sell them, that somebody then can actually, does have magical ability, knows where these gems come
that's
from.
one way of looking at
Hold
it.
on.
Yes.
That's
Hold on.
why-
Does Paul Cuthbert? Is this how your grandmother operates? She'll just basically pay, do the deal, and then go and recover both sides. Is this what she's like?
My grandmother would have nothing to do with that.
So,
What
Mike,
does that mean? So she wouldn't kind of deliberately set something up so that she
Absolutely
could
not.
renege on a deal. So
Absolutely not.
she's straight dealing. But okay, fine.
So we can possibly make the assumption that these two outsplinters who we found dead at the hut were working in some kind of in clandestine way.
In clandestine,
Yeah.
Clandestine.
So,
new word. So your
clandestine.
many questions about these gems, have they been marked by the Outsplinter family so that they could be retrieved if a deal was to go bad, or if they were to feel that they had been double-crossed in any way? Who knows? But you carry on the trail in pursuit of Hesty and Bugraft. And the trail runs east and south. It's always dropping. And the pine forest gives way to birch and oak, and all the while the drizzle falls from a low, miserable sky. And after you've been walking for about an hour, you round the flank of a hill and you get your first sight of the mist marsh. It's a dismal expanse of swamp and moss banks broken by creeks and pools that stretch off to the south where it's sludgy, it's kind of sludgy grey mass, and it just merges with the cloud at the horizon and makes it indistinct. You can't really sort of tell where the swamp ends, where the marsh ends, and the sky begins. And there are ribbons of dense fog that break up the view. Here and there you can see kind of stands of mangaroo trees, which you know are the sort of twisted, kind of dense trees that populate this kind of area. The occasional sort of sickly willow tree, and you hear strange distant croaks and cries. You see winged things flapping half-heartedly between the banks of mist. The trail turns east and skirts the foothills, climbing and dropping through crests and hollows, and it is as you descend into one such low, soggy valley that you see a couple of pack ponies. They've been left to graze. One of them seems to be hestitestopods because of the gear on it, though much has been stripped, and the other one is bug rafts. Yep. You can just detect the scent of smoke on the air, and the number of flies buzzing around you has risen markedly in the last few minutes. And over the rise ahead of you, you can hear distant cries and you can hear shouts. And as you cautiously crest the rise, you can see Blackwall Keep ahead of you. It's a kind of low stone structure, and it looks like it's built into the top of the hill in a sort of, like the hill has been built up, the top of the hill has been built up around it. Yes, like a sort of squat, muscular structure, defensive structure. But it has a tower, and that tower looms over the surrounding terrain. There's a main door to the keep, and that looks like it's been damaged. It looks like it's been damaged and repaired. And the ground all around Blackwall Keep is dotted with defensive stakes, like pointing outwards, driven into the ground. As you kind of crest the rise, you can see that surrounding the keep, taking cover in hollows or behind stands of kind of vegetational trees, there are bands of lizard folk. There might be 60 or 70 lizard folk in total, and they look like they're preparing for an assault. Maybe from the appearance of things, another assault. And just below you, on the slope, tucked into the hollow of a great oak, you see hestitestopod and bugraft, who, noticing you, has raised a silencing finger to his lips. At their feet, there's an arrow with a rolled-up slip of parchment, and Hesty has just pulled something from his pack. It looks like he's freed a lot of his baggage from his pony, yes, and he's kind of lugged it up with him. And what he's pulled from his pack is, it looks like a scroll, and as you're taking in the scene, he unfolds that scroll. He reaches out one hand and touches his baggage, specifically the chest where you know he keeps his spell books and his precious items. Then he mutters something and he disappears. And we'll pick it up next time. Oh, you bugger.
It's a bit so invisibility.
The Billowing Hilltop podcast is a Billowing Hilltop production. Dungeons & Dragons is a trademark of Wizards of the Coast. Encounter at Blackwall Keep and Age of Worms are copyright Paizo. Encounter at Blackwall Keep was written by Sean K. Reynolds. Music is from Kevin MacLeod and Incompetech.com and is used with thanks under the Creative Commons license. Additional music and sound effects come from the wonderful Sirenscape. All other original material is copyright Billowing Hilltop. Role-playing games are all about getting people together, and we use Roll20 as our tabletop, the perfect place to host your game, and Discord to host our chat. Thanks for listening!